Everyone knows. Everyone knows we're watching something special.
This is going to happen, just when? When is it going to happen? Didn't take long.
If we can't enjoy and get carried away by what he's achieving right now, what is the point?
I actually thought at one point, this is going to be a world record. This is going to smash any record. You don't get many finals with averages like that in. Probably the best performance in a final I've ever refereed.
We did lower the age limit for Luke Littler.
I'm fascinated with the whole Luke Littler situation. The Littler effect is taking effect. Of that, there's no doubt.
I guess Luke, bless him, was a test case for us.
What was the story when Luke Littler lost in the World Final? The story was Luke Littler losing the World Final. It wasn't Luke Humphries wins the World Championship. That's going to get people's back up.
Let the boy play darts.
Be careful what you wish for.
How many youngsters have come through that you've all said this is going to be the next big thing? Where are they?
It's mentally tough in what he's going through right now, so I did understand where Gary Anderson was coming from.
The media are needed.
Honestly, you have no got a clue.
If we can't just be excited and embrace that, yeah, I'm out.
Give yourselves a pat in the back.
It's up to the media themselves to be responsible.
Well, this is going to be the next big thing. That's it. Pressure's on him. All goes Pete Tong. Where is he now?
From what we know about Luke Littler, he got into darts very, very young. His parents were interested, particularly his dad. We've seen the video of him playing darts in a nappy, and people talk about a young sensation coming through. But this is actually someone who's been kind of practicing his whole life.
I was involved with the Junior Darts Corporation almost the outset. We were always looking for the next talent to come through. It just so happens that with the birth of social media and the amount of streaming that we've seen, particularly when the JDC kids go to Gibraltar, we were able to see Luke's 9-darter at the age of 14. When it came to him winning his first WDF ranking event and he qualified for Lakeside, we thought, this is not the norm. You don't see this every 2 or 3 years. You see this once in a generation. And when he won his debut match at Lakeside, we thought, yeah, there's something here.
He's one of the first generation of players to have grown up in the era of darts academies. They went to St Helens Darts Academy. It's a real hotbed of darting talent around that area as well. The likes of Stephen Bunting, Michael Smith, Dave Chisnell, for example, all from that area.
I went to the academy in St Helens just to do an exhibition. They were going on about in there. He could hit treble 20s. He could group the darts.
Young kids nowadays, Luke Littler being one of the first in that generation, were able to go and actually practice in an environment that was conducive to actually improvement, having coaches teaching the way to play darts, but also the way to conduct themselves as well. And I think that we really have seen in Luke real fruits and benefits of that system.
Going on from that, like he won the Isle of Man Open. That's just ridiculous. That's a difficult event to win. Then he started playing county and winning, playing these events and winning, and then turn up at the UK Open. When he got to the UK Open and played as well as he did last March, that was one of those, wow, right. Okay. He averaged a ton in one of the games. It's his first time in the PDC, playing on the big stage. Then it was like, right, this is going to happen, just when? When is it going to happen? Didn't take long.
He was someone that sort of was on my radar, someone I knew quite a lot about, and I was really excited to see him. Certainly when he got onto the UK Open qualifying straight after his birthday, getting onto that event, took to that stage really easily at Minehead, and then came here at the Super Series, and we thought, what's he going to do against this sort of level of player? We're talking about an international standard of player. Players that are looking to go on and get tour cards, players that have just dropped off the tour. We have a really top standard here. And he sort of went through the card quite easy, winning back-to-back titles. And for me, that was a moment where you look at it and go, right, Luke Littler's the real deal.
Just 16 years of age to be doing what you've been doing in darts. How have you felt it's just gone on from this level to be beating players that are much more experienced than you?
Well, my form's just gone on, and obviously I see people have bad patches and it can really go downhill, but I've just not had a bad patch, and hopefully I don't get one, fingers crossed. I've always topped my group ever since I've been here, but obviously I think I've just settled, and the stage is probably one of the best I've played on.
We did lower the age limit for Luke Littler. We'd seen what he'd done, we'd seen his potential, seen the average he was producing and the ability he undoubtedly had. But we then spoke to the authorities in many different areas about the gambling industry, the TV. We spoke to our TV, our data partners, So it wasn't a decision I made on my own. I wanted him to play, but one, I wanted it to be a legal thing to do, but I wanted to make sure I protected Luke as well.
If you were lucky enough to get to the end of the night and had the trophy in your hands, what would it mean to you?
It'd mean the absolute world. Obviously, the 20 grand's massive, and it'd be a massive step in my career. So just can't wait to get ready.
There was pressure on him when he first came here. A lot of people forget that. When it first came out that Luke Littler was going to be included in a week here, and the age was lowered and the safeguarding process was put in place, he had an immediate impact, and we understood immediately that maybe pressure just wasn't something that deteriorated his form.
So he does have 6 darts to book his place there.
Game shot on the mark.
Wins the job in 15 darts with 117.
Just look at what we normally get here as a crowd at the Super Series, and then the crowd when we got Luke Littler in. Everyone knows. Everyone knows we're watching something special. And people came here that night and those nights because they knew we was watching something special in Luke Littler. He has that aura about him, and he has that aura about him in terms of how he conducts himself on the stage.
He is bringing these fans to their feet.
What he did on that Super Series stage, just seeing how much enjoyment he had for the game. I remember him taking care of 2, 3, 1, 4 balls in there, and it was just the way he expresses himself up on that stage. It's just such a joy to watch.
That's where every one of these is going, and here we go again. Whoa!
I was reffing the final against Andy Barton's, and I didn't actually know what the average was until the end, but I actually thought at one point, this is going to be a world record. This is going to smash any record. I mean, you don't get many finals with averages like that in.
What an amazing.
It's incredible. 117.88. Probably the best performance in a final I've ever refereed.
When I refereed Champions Week, and I noticed he'd change his stems a lot if something didn't feel quite right, and he'd still play just as well than the original set he was using. Almost trying to look for that little extra, maybe 5% or 10% to try and improve his game, or maybe he was just doing it for show, I don't know. Bizarrely, one time he actually used a set of his dad's darts. He could almost throw at anything and he just wouldn't miss.
His technique is built on rhythm, an incredible amount of backswing. The replication's absolutely unbelievable. He has this unique style of throwing a dart with a really long point as well. But the thing that his attributes, what impresses me most, and the thing about his technique I like, is that backswing and that incredible follow through, but the rhythm is dynamite.
Rhythm is absolutely key. Show me a world-class player with little rhythm. Littler's just running with it, but his rhythm is absolutely everything. We've seen him once or twice stop, but it doesn't work for him because his game is rhythm, his game is routine. His game is comfort, and he's got it down pat. Long may it continue, but that rhythm's everything. But his actual style is his own. He does this move. You would never teach that, but these guys make it their own.
He did prove to be a nightmare to spot for as well at times. It was so unpredictable the ways he was going to go.
Oh, that's different.
Definitely one of the better counters in world darts. There are a few that stand out. Yellow Klassen, Brian Raman, people like that spring to mind, but he is definitely in that category now.
He knows the setup shots he's going to go for. Just 6 darts into a leg at times. If you're a good counter in the game, then you're halfway there.
Now he looks at tops. Wins the leg.
Some of the shots he's been taking here at the Super Series was great. The Bull 11 ball, he's rewriting things in his own way, and he's carrying that on the World Championship stage as well. It's not something he was just getting a bit brash, feeling like he was the big cheese here. It's something he's adopted within his game.
Bull 11.
Game shot on the
He goes for the 25, he hit 25 and he was 86. Treble 18, double 16. Of course, if you hit the bullseye, 11 ball. It's a showboaty way to go, but it works for him. I've seen him take out a few times.
Bull. And he conducts the crowd. Game.
He uses the same strategy as some of his finishes, the Bull 11 bull, which excited everyone here in Portsmouth. He seems to have taken that onwards. It's been very interesting to see every interview that he's done so far. He's always mentioned the MODUS Super Series. He's used that as a real benchmark.
That experience of winning this Champions Week last time and playing here at the MODUS Super Series, How much do you think that will do for your career going forward in terms of experience?
It's obviously a lot of experience through the week. There's no one here, so you just got to knuckle down and hope you get to Saturday. And obviously I've been to Saturday twice and obviously won the big one, and the crowd was there. It's like 200 people. Sounded a lot more.
I guess Luke, bless him, was a test case for us. And no, there's a lot of good players under the age of 18 that are more than able to play in the Super Series, but we was a little bit reluctant. And so I think Luke Littler has opened a lot of doors there for the younger players to come and play in the Super Series, because if I'm honest, without Luke actually in a way forcing around because of how good he was, and we wanted him to come and play in the Super Series, we lowered the age limit, so now it's opened the door for other younger players, and Luke did that really. I mean, we changed. Don't get me wrong, we actually made the decision to do it, but without Luke Littler, we wouldn't have done that.
Earlier today, Luke Littler, the two-time champion, of course, here, and the finalist at the World Championship, he was awarded a place in the Premier League. Matt, 16 years old, Premier League player, your instant reaction to that?
It's the right decision. It's the right decision, and it's the wrong decision in a way. He's got a lot of demands coming his way now, so he's not ever played at the moment in a Pro Tour environment, European Tour environment.
There was definitely a sense of anticipation about him. I mean, unless you actually know what Luke's done the last few years, it's a new up-and-coming talent. Everyone's going to be wondering, how's he going to adapt to the main stage? But those in the know that he was just going to take to it like a duck to water. I don't think we quite expected him to average as well as he did, but Luke's always had that in the locker, and I'm sure there's many heights that his game can go to. There was a buzz around the place. Obviously, when he got through his first round, everyone was thinking, it's the new kid on the block, but we've known that with Luke for a number of years now, so it's nothing new what he's doing.
In terms of the crowd, that changed game by game. I have never, ever, ever heard a reception like he got after the semi-final. It was mind-blowing. I couldn't hear myself speak. I don't know if I got my words out in the right order, but he certainly did. It was ridiculous that after holding it together match after match after match, he was still conducting himself in the same way in post-match interviews as well. I've never seen anything like it before, ever.
I can tell you as a player what we do whenever there's a new kid on the block. Go, I want to be the one who stops him. I want to be the one to go and beat him. What was the story when Luke Littler lost in the World Final? The story was Luke Littler losing the World Final. It wasn't Luke Humphries wins the World Championship. That's going to get people's back up. And it's not Luke's fault. But the players are going to want to try and beat him and try and get that story to move to them. Because what he's done is he's gained a load of interest, and everyone's going to want to cash in on that.
So if it ever goes up, well, look, give yourselves a pat in the back, because that's the way it's going. Let the boy play darts. I've been downstairs today and he's had cameras, Zoom calls, Sky meetings. Let the boy play darts. He's had a great tournament, he's done well. What happens if it all goes Pete Tong now?
At first I thought Gary Anderson was right. I thought, it's a good point. I've seen players who were the next big thing and all of a sudden they just fizzle away and then they just get onto the new toy, and it just seems that new person is Luke Littler right now.
We've seen it in the past. You go through the darts over the last 10 years, how many youngsters have come through that you've all said this is going to be the next big thing? Where are they?
I've got a role now with a PDPA as a director. So number one is about safeguarding and just making sure that at his age, we're doing the right things for him. It's mentally tough what he's going through right now, so I did understand where Gary Anderson was coming from. It just seems different, Luke Littler. It's if he's saying, bring on the media, whatever you throw at me, I'm just going to deal with it.
If we can't enjoy and get carried away by what he's achieving right now, what is the point? One of the most important things about sport is getting caught up in it, letting yourself get carried away and just losing yourself in the moment. If we can't do that with Luke Littler at the moment and everything he's achieving, seriously, we may as well just give up. If he wasn't enjoying this, and if there were signs that maybe it was holding him back, then yes, we'd need to reevaluate. But he is embracing absolutely every opportunity that comes his way. He is getting as caught up in the moment as we are. And we're getting to watch a 17-year-old live his dream. That feels pretty special to me. I had goosebumps watching him on the Ali Pali stage. He's living out a dream that so many of us have had. If we can't just be excited and embrace that, yeah, I'm out.
Honestly, you've not got a clue. how many young dart players we see coming through the system. Well, this is going to be the next big thing. That's it. Pressure's on him. All goes Pete Tong. Where is he now?
Harry had a point. What he was trying to do was protect the 16-year-old kid from too much exposure. Now, the amount of media that were at that World Final, it was frightening. The responsibility of people around Luke is to protect him. He's obviously going to have media duties as a dart player at this level. The Professional Darts Corporation will have a duty of care to make sure that he does those in the right setting.
The PDC made sure before we went up on stage to interview him at the World Championship, when it reached a certain stage of the tournament, Dave Allen from the PDC would go up and say, are you okay to do this interview? So there was that side of it that was certainly at the forefront of everyone's mind, even during the World Championship. And I fully believe that will be the case going forward.
It's up to the media themselves to be responsible. That word responsible is so important right now. Now, we know the generation that we live in, we know the country that we live in, and that the media are not responsible all of the time. They are going to pick and choose their stories and try and pick him apart. He must ignore those clickbait style stories and just focus on what he's doing.
The problem you've got with social media is everybody's got an opinion and everyone can voice that opinion to you. And everything you put is going to divide opinion. Some people will like it, some people won't. He's the most followed dart player in the world. We're not just talking darts media, we're talking mainstream media. So people want to hear from him. They want to know what he's up to. My advice to Luke Littler on that would be, don't completely dismiss it, because it's a great tool for interacting with your fans, and that's what people want to see right now. Use the tool for that. Don't read the comments. He doesn't need any negativity in his world. He is so confident, full of so much positivity, and he will get a lot of that from social media, but I'd hire a social media manager if I was him.
Without the media, Gary's not earning millions. Without the media, darts is nothing. Darts is back in the 80s and 90s, like it was mid-90s. It was an absolute shambles. Be careful what you wish for. The media are needed. I get exactly what Gary means. There's like that element of let's protect the asset. But do you not talk about him? Do we not say, look, this kid is amazing. Let's just enjoy watching his rise and rise and rise to the very top, which we think is going to happen. We don't know, no one knows. But he's enjoying himself. Luke Littler is doing what he wants to do.
Darts being so prominent in the media, however that happens, is better for every single darts player in the world, because it creates more opportunities, it creates more money, and that will indirectly filter through to every aspect of the game, including their individual pocket. So when a player moans about the media attention, but in 3 years' time picks up a world championship check for £1 million, then they should maybe reflect on the impact of what has happened with Luke and what he's done.
He has just taken absolutely everything in his stride. There's nothing this kid can't do, and there's nothing that he doesn't want to do. That's the thing. If there was any reservation there, I think we'd have a different viewpoint. But right now, I think we just have to marvel in what we are seeing. We just have to embrace it, and we all want more of it. We're all going to get more of it. So let's just enjoy it. Let's just sit back with a kebab and embrace it.
Everyone wants to know what's happening with Luke Littler. They want to see, some want to see him win, some want to see him lose. It's what happens in sport. My interest is piqued because I care. Other people care. I'm fascinated with the whole Luke Littler situation. The Littler effect is taken effect. Of that, there's no doubt.
We are starting to see what's called a niche sport become as popular as it's always been, and maybe it's been seen by more people. I think it's about time that big-time sponsors came into this sport and realised that we are legit. We are no longer niche.